Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, more than 24 stranded whales have been rescued in a mammoth mission off Tasmania's west coast, but close to 100 are now believed to be dead. Marine experts spent the day trialling methods to free the distressed mammals in MACQUARIE Harbour. The whales have been helplessly stuck on sandbars for more than 24 hours, sparking frantic efforts to free them. And although there has been some success, rescuers still have a long way to go.
In the shallows, the delicate rescue unfolds. Teams of marine experts carefully work to refloat the animals stranded on sandbars. One by one, they're placed in a special sling and attached to the side of a boat before being guided out into deeper waters.
The crews have been becoming more proficient and efficient throughout the day, so the effort has speeded up. So we'll continue to do the same tomorrow.
It's a slow operation and one that takes patience. One whale, which was freed this morning, returned to its pod only to become stranded again.
There's always a risk when we refloat animals and take them out to sea. There is a risk that they will return and re-strand. We have seen that in past occasions.
It's estimated around a third of the whales have died, but a more thorough investigation will take place tomorrow.
We'll be looking to do a more detailed assessment tomorrow using infrared camera imagery from the air.
Never seen anything like this. Obviously heard of a few cases in the past, but yeah, just amazed at how this sort of happens, I guess. So yeah, I wonder why.
Totally devastated. You know, you see something like this and you don't expect it to happen, but then you think, why? You know, it's just, yeah, totally unbelievable.
The pilot whales aren't only stranded in the harbour, around 30 have also washed up onto nearby Ocean Beach. Many are dead, with volunteers working desperately to get those that are still alive back into the water. This rescue operation is expected to take several days before all surviving whales are moved back to the ocean. But as the days go on, there are fears more will die. Attention will then turn to removing carcasses.
We're just considering options at the present time. I guess there's a couple of key options. One is that we dispose of them at sea. That's very dependent on currents for success. We're also considering whether burial might be an option, but that's not without complexities either.
A stronger tide is expected in coming days, which should aid rescuers in their attempts to free more whales.
There's an element of reality too. So this, as far as we know, this was a natural event, so we can accept that we're going to lose some animals. This is such a tricky event, such a complex event, that any whale we save, we're considering a real win. So we're focusing on having as many survivors as we can.
LETITIA Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
A man accused of inflicting shocking injuries on a juice bar worker before robbing her has faced court for the first time. Police allege the 37-year-old assaulted the teenager on Park Street in Launceston before stealing the victim's car and hundreds of dollars in cash from the business. He did not enter a plea and his matter has been adjourned until next month. Sue Neal-Fraser's bid for freedom is facing another hurdle, with her full appeal hearing not expected until next year. The convicted murderer's legal team is based in Victoria and Western Australia, and because of restrictions, they can't easily travel to Tasmania to appear in court. Concerns have previously been raised that the case is too complex and lengthy to be heard over video link.
Well, when you think she's been there for more than 11 years, imagine how you would feel. So, of course, she wants it out, but she wants a proper appeal.
The case will return to court again in a fortnight. Former Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Simon Overland has been appointed to the top operational job at Burnie City Council. For more now, we're joined by reporter Sean McComish. Good day, Sean. Now, this is quite a high-profile appointment, isn't it?
Well, good evening, Kim. Burnie City Council confirmed Mr Overland would take on the General Manager role less than an hour ago. Of course, he's well known for his time with Victoria Police, which saw him controversially resign after an inquiry into the handling of crime statistics. Afterwards, he came to Tasmania, serving as this Secretary of Justice. He then filled the General Manager spot at the city of Whittlesea in Melbourne suburbs. Burnie City Council today confirmed he was the successful applicant for its GM role out of a field of 35. When I spoke to Mayor Steve Collins earlier, he said he expected Mr Overland to be brilliant and dismissed concerns over his past. As for the start date, that will be a little delayed because of quarantine restrictions. He's expected to begin in early November. Kim?
Frustrated FIFO workers have scored a victory after flaws were revealed in the recent quarantine exemption. Only workers on a 14-day roster had been exempt from home quarantine, forcing families to endure more heartache.
Last week, the path was cleared for returning FIFO workers from safe areas to skip home quarantine. It turned out to be a false hope for workers like Nathan Bogue.
We didn't feel there was going to be any issues, and then, we got dealt that hand of all of a sudden we had to have been gone out of the state for 14 days.
Exemptions were only being issued to those on 14-day rosters, plunging some families back into limbo. Today their plight made it to the floor of Parliament.
Premier, there are many FIFO workers who are operating on rosters that are typically less than 14 days, who have now been denied the ability to return to Tasmania.
I was not aware that it was potentially 14 days. I will raise that with Public Health.
Just a few hours later, the issue was fixed.
With respect to FIFO workers, instead of 14 days, it's 7 days. And so with respect to that, that's an improvement to the system.
Another plight raised today, struggling food charities. Strong Demand has chewed through cash Food Bank was given for the COVID crisis.
So we've run out of money. We understand the government are looking very closely at what's going to happen next.
Labor is also keeping up pressure on another burning question. What is the government's plan if we face another virus outbreak?
We are one of the jurisdictions in this country that has dealt with an outbreak. Madam Speaker, those learnings have been taken on board by Public Health, Madam Speaker.
Hopefully painful lessons from the past will be enough to avoid pain in the future. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A hand-painted map of Hobart's suburb Battery Point has been reproduced and reinstalled after it suffered water damage. The painting by well-known local artist Richard Bacon was on display for more than 40 years before it had to be removed. His family today paying tribute to the late artist ahead of the 5th anniversary of his death on Monday.
The story and the interpretation of Dad's life and the photos, I think for a lot of us opening this today was quite probably a bit sad.
I think it's incredible, absolutely incredible.
The original painting was photographed and restored to allow it to remain on display for decades to come. A clean bill of health has been given to Tasmania's expression of interest process for sensitive tourism projects in national parks. A report by the Auditor-General found the process was administered effectively. The Auditor-General noted the assessment panel lacked independence and would benefit from broader community representation, but says there was no evidence the composition of the board affected assessment outcomes. A mother has made a passionate online plea for information after her autistic son became a victim of a cruel robbery. This CCTV vision captures the moment a hooded thug creeps outside a house in Invermay before pinching the 9-year-old's bike and riding away. The incident occurred earlier this week and anyone with information should contact police. 35 firefighters from the Hobart City Council have undertaken training to prepare for the upcoming bushfire season. The group, made up of volunteers from across council departments, was put through its paces today, taking part in training exercises and testing equipment, including infrared drones.
We all need to be aware of the challenge that's in front of us, and we all need to take action on our own property, in our own home, in our own assets to protect ourselves and our neighbours and our friends.
The council firefighters will continue undertaking fuel reduction burns and be ready to support the TFS in case of a bushfire emergency. Meanwhile, new research has found the catastrophic bushfires on the east coast of Australia earlier this year resulted in the steepest spike in smoke-related health costs in the past 20 years. The study by the University of Tasmania's Menzies Institute shows costs climbed to almost $2 billion across the country due to the 2019-2020 bushfires, with New South Wales the most severely affected. While the data shows the 2016 and 2019 bushfires in Tasmania caused the biggest rise in smoke-related health costs in the state in the past decade, totalling more than $20 million each.
Turning to the TSLW, Launceston players know they face a huge challenge against the ladder leader Clarence this weekend. The Roos are coming off a thumping 83-point victory over the Tigers, while the Blues have had back-to-back byes.
Our depth players have really stepped up. The training over the last couple of weeks has been fantastic.
Must win for us. We want to finish on top because that gives us the best chance going into finals to make the grannies.
Meanwhile, Lauderdale and Glenorchy are preparing for the TSL's last game of the regular season under lights. It's do or die in the state's Premier League hockey, with one final spot up for grabs in the last round of the season. Two sides are also battling for the valuable second place on the ladder, which awards a second bite of the cherry come crunch time.
Canterbury's slim finals hopes remain alive, largely thanks to one man. Goalkeeper Max Larkin making a show-stopping 8 saves against one of the competition's best, Derwent.
It was a tough game. We were pretty up and about from the start.
This week's assignment even tougher against the ladder leaders, Northwest graduates, but a potential finals berth is at stake.
Look, anything can happen. It'll just come down to game day.
Sidelined OHA forward Sam McCambridge will make his return from injury against University.
It's handy that we're actually potentially playing them in the first round of the finals as well, so we'll get to see what they're like this weekend.
As if his side needs any extra strike power after a crushing 5-0 win only days ago. On the receiving end, Diamondbacks, one side definitely without finals on its radar, languishing at the bottom of the table with only one win. The last clash against Derwent is as much about pride as anything.
We're just hoping to put 4 quarters on the field. I reckon that's one aspect we've struggled with this year.
Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
And finally, after becoming the toast of the nation, Richie Port had shown those gruelling weeks on the bike may have taken their toll. The Tasmanian could finally see his family after returning to his home in Monaco, but he was clearly a bit exhausted.
When you got home, was Gemma happy?
Yeah, and she was happy enough, except I forgot my keys, so she had to get up at midnight to come and let me into the building. But no, I mean, obviously, you know, I can't really get many things right, can I?
Richie will spend only a few days with his family, then he's off to Italy, where he'll represent Australia in the World Road Championships on Sunday. Gee, he did look a bit tired, Kim, but gee, they don't stop, do they?
They don't. He's got plenty of nappies to change and washing to do from what I hear too. Thanks very much, Tom.
Good evening, Hobart and Campania. Our top today with 19 degrees, Launceston and Devonport 14, Burnie a high of 15, Bushy Park and Friendly Beaches 18, Grove 17, King and Flinders Island 16, St Helens 15 today with Low Head and Strawn on 14. Mount Barrow the highest rainfall to 3 p.m. with 29 millimetres as cloud moved across the state from the northwest, not much getting to the east coast or the southeast. Plenty of cloud over Victoria, South Australia and southern New South Wales. Mid to high level cloud stretches from northwest WA right across the nation to Queensland. Tomorrow a low passes just to our south, a trough flicking the state, the high weakens over the bight. The wind shifting south-southwesterly at 20 to 30 knots in the morning, reaching 35 knots over the northeast, and easing is expected in the west and north later. A gale warning has been issued for waters between Cape Portland and St Helens Point, a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters. We also have a minor flood warning that's current for the North Esk River. Hobart expecting a top of 16 with a showery day tomorrow. Geeveston 15 and Bothwell 13 with rain in the air. Launceston a shower or two clearing, 17 the high, 15 the top for Devonport. Possible shower for Cressy, 16 the top. Burnie a shower or two with the winds easing, 15, 13 for Strawn, showery and the winds easing, same for Curry. 17 the top for St Helens, Swansea 17 as well with a shower developing, Orford 16 degrees. On Thursday, showers over the west and Bass Strait with possible showers elsewhere, snow to 800 metres. Showers easing over the north and west on Friday evening, another touch of snow on the peaks. And on Saturday, snow down to 700 metres in the west and south, another shower or two for most areas, cloudy over the central north. Sunny in Perth tomorrow, 26 the top there. A fair bit cooler for Adelaide and Melbourne with a shower or two. Sunny in Sydney, partly cloudy over Brisbane, 34 and sunny for Darwin. Partly cloudy in Hobart, it's 13 at the moment. Cloudy in Launceston at 9 and Devonport cloudy and 11. Kim, I was just thinking today how lucky we are here in Tasmania while this COVID is going on. Everything's shut in Melbourne. Nail technicians, beauty parlours, hairdressers, tanning salons. Apparently, Kim, it's getting ugly out there.
Get off. We give you way too much time each night. Thank you very much, Merv. That's all the time we have for you this evening. Thanks for your company tonight. Hope you can join us again tomorrow, and good night.